Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion. And that smooth volume fade out was top notch. Professional. It's terrible. Hi, how are you doing? It's Monday. Welcome back to another work week. For those of you that start your work week on Mondays, I hope it's going well. For those of you that it's already later in the day and you're almost done or already done with your workday, I hope it went well. We're going to be having some more UI fun today. But first, Dukasoft was first with the first message. Saying first. Yeah. What about the unemployed? And those of you that are unemployed, I hope you're having a fantastic start to your weekday week. First weekday of the week. So weird. Since Friday, was it by choice? Was it not by choice? What's going on? All right. So yes, I do wish everyone a fantastic Monday. And just hope that you are all doing well. If you're not, you're welcome to tell us about it. Hello, Zotra Lord. What about those of us in the woods living on solar? That's pretty awesome. If you can do that and still have good internet, that is really freaking cool. I quit my job because I'm tired of maintaining garbage spaghetti code. And hello, Dr. Captain Sir. Thank you so much for your follow, whenever that was. It is fairly recent, I think. Or maybe you haven't followed yet, in which case that's totally okay. No pressure to, if you don't feel like it. But I kind of remember seeing your name come up. Yeah, 12 days ago. 12 days ago. So thank you so much for that. And hello, Zaid. Good news? Maybe later today or tomorrow? Maybe? Depending on your schedule. I was going to write you on Discord, but cool. As you know, I am streaming right now, so I told my PM at minimum after 1 o'clock our time. So yeah, cool. And for some reason, the region manager person thinks your name is Mike, but that's okay. Mike. He's a cool guy. It's just, kind of flaky on the details. Okay, anyway, welcome. So, on our stream, what we normally work on is this project called the Financial Management Tracker. No, they don't. So the way that I used to stream was I streamed my day job when I was working at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, which is now the Rocky Mountain National Wildlife Refuge. It's a lot easier just to call RMA. So I used to be able to stream my workday and pretty much hang out with you guys for 6 hours a day, Monday through Friday, doing my job and talking with other developers, learning from you guys, maybe putting out some information that is useful to you as well, but mostly learning from you. And then I changed jobs to the one that I'm currently in. And the actual company that I'm working for is Sagetti, which is a consulting firm. And all the views and opinions I express on my channel are my own and not necessarily the views and opinions of Sagetti, just so you know. But they are a consulting firm, which means that they have a whole bunch of consultants, and then they pursue requests for proposals and other clients. And when they get a client, they allocate consultants to work on whatever the project is for whatever agreement is or arrangement is made between Sagetti and the client. And so I'm working on a client project where we aren't supposed to be talking about who the client is or what the work product is fully. Like I've been saying generic stuff like it is a diagnostics application for troubleshooting hardware, figuring out if there are hardware issues going on with your branded computer from the company that I'm working with. And so, anyway, point is that means that I can't really stream the actual work product. However, in the past 2 weeks, I've let them know, or I guess only 1 week, I've let them know that I will be leaving Sagetti, and that also means the client project as well. And I'll be moving back to my previous project that I used to work on, just under a different company, working directly for the people that are using the product. So I still haven't fully decided whether I'll be back to streaming. It shall be done, Dukasoft. So I don't know if that means that I'll be back to streaming my day job and doing that. But what I think I'm going to do for at least the beginning part of it, yep, exactly, Zoltra Lord. What I'm going to do for the beginning part of it is we're going to get through the rest of this financial management tracker and complete it. But I'll most likely do it for 5 days a week during this time slot. Or maybe on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, keep it at the same time slot and then shift around the time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, depending on, what's better for you guys. Because really, I mean, like, I am streaming for myself because I don't really get to talk with, or I used to say this a lot, and that's why it's just coming out. I didn't really have the opportunity to talk with other developers in a meaningful way and to get feedback and opinions on the code that I write. And of course, if you stream on Twitch, you get feedback and opinions. And I want that. I want that very much. So that's why I started streaming. And yeah, it's nice. Yes, shout out to fellow developers stuck in silos. But here's the thing, though. The team that I'm currently working on, we are 4 developers. And one of them is relatively new to software. Well, I mean, they've been doing software development for maybe 4 years, maybe more. But they still don't have that kind of knack for the way to organize things, I guess. I don't really know what it is I'm trying to say about them. They're a good developer, good problem solver, but not quite at the point of let's make all of the considerations needed before making a change or when making a change. So there's still some skills that they could pick up on. Another developer has been doing, actually the other 2 developers have been doing software development for years, 20 plus, probably a combined total of 50 years between them. They're old school developers. They have all of the knowledge and techniques, but they do struggle a little bit with applying modern techniques because they know the way to do this in order to avoid certain situations, like deadlocks, for example. And we do a lot of hardware bound compute type stuff. So, deadlocks is a real thing. But I still think that there are a lot of things that could be done differently that you don't even have to consider that anymore as much. But yeah. But there's just a lot of other stuff that happened to get me to this point that I'm at, and I'm sure it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. But let me catch up on the rest of chat. What about those of us living in the woods? I quit my job because I'm tired of maintaining garbage spaghetti code. Oh yeah, we have lots of garbage spaghetti code that we are trying to clean up. But with, the demand, it's like, well, we need to get these new features added, fix these bugs. It's like, if you gave us an entire iteration or 2, maybe even an entire release cycle, we could get all the bugs cleaned up and the application in a very maintainable state so that any new features would be the only thing that we have to keep testing over and over, as opposed to every bit of logic all the time. And we'd be able to have automated testing. Anyway, Ticketsoft said, after using 4 hours on a WordPress contact form, after working 4 hours on a WordPress contact form that wouldn't send a reply to the user, I asked my boss if I could go home. Also, happy Monday. And then I told you the name of the project that we'll be doing today. We're back to working on the whatever this is called, financial management tracker. It's open source. It's on GitHub. You can check out the code. You can contribute to it if you so feel like it, but I'm just working on it on stream. Spaghetti Developer said, I was migrating a 100-ish form Access application to Blazor, and I stumbled upon a ton of code in Access that I just didn't want to deal with, so I quit. So this application, by the way, if you haven't been on prior streams, this financial management tracker is really for me. I'm doing a lot of stuff that's very selfish. Not gonna apologize for it. If you guys didn't want to be here, you wouldn't be here. I'm really glad you are, because like I said, I really love hearing from other developers, especially opinionated developers. But I have an Access application. We're going to call it an application because I'm using SQL as the database. I'm just having Access linked to those tables in SQL. So I have an Access application with some forms that perform this functionality of being able to enter transactions, payments, transfers, and deposits. And then it shows me, it pretty much looks like this for the most part in Access. It shows me the account summary for all of the accounts that I'm tracking and all of the transactions that I have for just for everything that I've tracked. Then after I'm done manually inputting my financial transactions, so when I've bought stuff, when I've gotten paid for my job, when I transfer money from one account to another account, then I open Excel because I have a workbook that is structured in a way where I have pretty much 1 month of daily totals. And I wish I could show, well, not really wish I could. I would show it to you, but it has my actual financial data and I'm not really wanting to share that with anyone. But like, picture a workbook with a row. The first column is the name of the months. And then across the top are the days of the month 1 through 31. And then the body of that table of that, well, I did turn it into a table. So the body of that table are just numbers, dollar amounts. And they are the dollar amounts from my historical values, which every historical, any day in the past is crossed out or has strike through. And then in the future, what my projected amount of money each day is going to be, including doing calculations on how much interest I'm going to earn for that month in my savings accounts, how much I plan on spending on my credit card bill. And I have one of those per account. So I have like three accounts that are showing on the sheet, 3 calendars essentially, with a whole bunch of formulas and conditional formatting. Yeah. But yes, yeah. So wait, I need to catch up first and then I'll answer you, Zoltralord. So Zoltralord said, I'm so sorry, SD Access VBA is awful. I love VBA though. I love VBA. So much fun writing Microsoft Visual Basic for Microsoft applications is what I said. And then Decker TV said, it has been a long time since I chatted here. Glad to be listening in. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Glad to have you here. Spaghetti Developer said to Zoltralord, yeah, no string interpolation and so massive SQL queries with tons of ampersands. And don't forget the underscores at the end of lines so that you can split them onto the next line and just try to make it somewhat readable. But I did love VB. Man, I did. Duke Self had me drink some water. Water treatment software. Yep. You're going to your previous. How do I phrase that? So Decker's asking, you're going to your previous company working directly for them. When I was working at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, I was working for a company called International Computing Systems, and they are also a consultancy, a small consulting firm, not like as big as Sagetti or Capgemini or anything. They were relatively small, maybe 100 developers or 100 consultants. And so they were subcontracted to do the records management stuff, as well as the technical, servers and migrations and software and all that stuff. I left that team because of the supervisor. And yeah. So after doing all the work that I did, I was like, okay, it's in a good place. You guys have some strong, solid working apps. I would love to continue supporting you. Sagetti is not letting me support you in that way. And then we had lots of discussions and other things happened. So anyway, we kept in contact and they're like, well, we want to hire you direct hire, directly me. And so I'm like, well, I'm enjoying this project, but I really loved working on those applications. I really miss them. And the way that things are going with Sagetti as far as the mindset for a couple of things that just rubbed me in a way that I don't want to be in this environment. I'm not very successful in this type of environment, which is not saying that it's a bad environment. It's just not one that I want to be in. And things are changing, of course, because I'm leaving. Things are changing for the better. So anyway, point is that the prime contractor at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal is hiring me directly. So I'm not going back to the same previous company. I'm going back to the same location, working on the same applications, but a different company. Hope that makes sense. that was a lot to describe. Anyway, hopefully they're paying you more. They're definitely paying more than I made at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal when I first went there. I was getting paid peanuts, pretty much, for maintaining that many applications, for doing the job of 4 or 5 developer team as a solo developer with a junior developer that I was also training. And yeah. So now I'm at Social Lord's question. Can you just do what you did before Streamwise? Most likely, yeah. I do like to finish things. So that's why I'm trying to clean everything up before I leave this job and get it to a point where I feel like it is finished for the work that I was hired to do with them, which was to modernize their UI, which is for the most part done. I've just been adding features, but I don't want to leave a feature half done. There is work in progress on a new feature, and actually 2 new features, but it's still going to be at a point where it's manageable, maintainable, and good for the next person. So then I knew they would want you back. They needed the master. Definitely not a master. I am confident in my abilities to maintain and even improve the applications and do it really well. But I have a lot to learn still. And I'm looking forward to learning more through that job. Like, something that did happen is I was able to continue supporting them. And so in the evenings, I've been doing additional work for their applications. And there was this thing that I was trying to ask about and talk about on last Wednesday, and then I finished up on Friday, where it was just breaking my brain trying to figure out how to pull this data so that I can display it in the correct manner using these specific rules. And so it's not like just because I'm going back to the position where it's just a user group of like 30 at most. But there are 7 to 10 applications that I'll be maintaining. They're pretty complex, and they're they're really fun to work on. You'll see them. For those of you that have never seen it before, you will see them in the future. But first we're going to finish up this design at least, and then maybe apply the design. And then we'll drop Finance Man. Leave it as a community project. So yeah, Decker TV said, shout out to fellow developers stuck in silos. So I was trying to respond to that, where our team, even though we're 4 people, we do kind of still work in silos, but we do have access to each other. And I've really, really appreciated the access to the other developers and being able to talk with them about stuff. So yeah, anyway, it's a very motivational stream, says Rilvanov. Re. You go by Re, right? Riv. I don't remember. Did I write it down at least? I think I wrote it down. Please tell me I wrote it down. I didn't write it down. I didn't write it down. Riv. You go by Riv. Got it. Or Riva. Which do you prefer? Do you have a preference, I should ask? Or do you not really care? Okay, so then catch up time. Heck yeah. Dr. Capsur said, oh no, old school developers. I'm scared that's what I end up appearing as with 20 plus years of development. You should not be afraid of that, as long as, well, not even as long as, you shouldn't be ashamed of it ever. Yeah. The thing that I encourage that you don't have to do, but the thing that I appreciate in people that have been in development for a long time is to listen to someone that doesn't have as much experience as they do, hear what they have to say, hear their approach for how they're doing a thing, and then consider, before responding, is this actually a good way of doing it? Because what the first knee-jerk reaction tends to be, at least from the team that I work with, is, well, that's not how I would do it, therefore it's wrong. But not necessarily. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is to continue learning for the rest of your life, not settling on the way that you're doing it is the right way. Because I act like that a lot, where I found this way of doing it. I found it to be the best way for me to do it. I don't care if anyone else has a different way of doing it, but this one works for me. Therefore, I'm going to keep doing it that way. But I want to learn. I want to strip that off of myself and be like, no, there are different ways of doing this. And maybe they are even more beneficial and easy to implement and maintain and all the things, you know? Good. You do know. All right. Then Spaghetti said, yeah, well, your standard for spaghetti code might be way higher than mine. I'm talking about absolute complete trash spaghetti code that even a junior with 1 month experience would consider complete trash. Oh man, I'm sorry. Decker said, fixing the old garbage code is a task required for everyone. Need to get it off the never ever plan onto a chip away slowly plan. Yeah. And it'd be really nice. Like right now we're at the end of our release cycle. We're about to release on Thursday. And so we've had code freeze. Now would be the best time to make branches for refactoring a lot of our code instead of trying to work on new features for the next release. So create some branches, start refactoring, clean up is what I would want to use this time for. It'd be nice. It'd be really nice. You can create mock data. I could, and we do have a database to use for this. So that's going to be better for us when we see the way that this application actually looks, which we can currently. You can run it and see the UI. It looks like this one up here for now. And we have mock data in there, or just data we entered while we were on stream. So you can see what it looks like. But as far as the actual reporting stuff, I don't know that I would be able to have the spreadsheet point to, or the workbook point to this, because I did change the structure a bit. I don't know. We'll try. We'll try. I'll show you what the spreadsheet looks like eventually. I keep saying spreadsheet, but it's an entire workbook. Like the first sheet in the workbook is pick what year you want to display the data on that calendar page as. The second one are the references to the table just pulled into Excel. The third one are the combined calendar views for each of them. And then they're more for like calculating taxes and tracking my business finance type stuff. So yeah, and budgets and paydays. Anyway, bunch of stuff. Anyway, TBD Gamers back. Good day, all. Fear will often stop teams from making drastic changes. True. And most devs seem to find it easier to add into the mess than set another pattern. True. Yes. Dr. Kemser says, it sounds like you leave companies' projects for similar reasons that I do, which is kind of validating. Cool. Yeah, a lot of people leave projects or teams because they can make more money somewhere else. And for me, it really is like the main draw for me. Money is a factor. I'm like my inkling is to say money doesn't matter, but money is a factor. It's not as high on the list as is the technology something that I want to work with? Is the project something that sounds like I want to do? Because if I don't care about it, I'm not going to do a great job. I'm going to do the best job that I can, but it's still not going to be great because I won't have the full motivation to do it. But yeah, Riva said it's usually the team. So in this case, there's the team makeup is perfect. Like the way that each of our mindsets work. We have one person that's very, very much into let's just keep things as they are, status quo, don't change things up. There's one person that's like, let's use the latest technology, even if it's not appropriate for the thing that we're trying to do, but I want to use this new thing because it's shiny. And then me, I'm somewhere in the middle of that. That's like, if we have time, let's try adding a new thing, but only if it is appropriate. And then let's maintain what we currently have unless we can improve it while we are working on the thing that we're working on. But there's this imbalance of it though, where the personality conflicts on top of that are very, well, I want to use this new thing. I talked to you guys about it. I'm going to use it now, implement it, break the build. If you guys are struggling with it, that's your problem. You need to fix it on your dev machine because it works on mine, kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, come on. We could do better than that. Here's some stuff in the PR that I've asked you to review and that I've raised concerns about, but you have push, force push capabilities. So who's to stop you from just going ahead and pushing anyway? Other than, maybe doing the right thing. Anyway. But that's small. That's very small. I could definitely continue working on this team. There were things that happened with Sagetti, and then things that are happening with, and this is why I'm not saying the client's name or anything, but there are things that are happening on the client team that are just a bit much. And so I'm talking with them about it so that anyone new that comes onto the team will not have to deal with it this way. And they can understand that this is not a way that things would be. This is not a conducive behavior. But then on top of that, the offer that I did get from my previous the previous people that I worked with on the applications that I will be working on was like, all right, this is just way too good. Freedom to work on the applications as I see fit. No more dealing with personality conflicts. Very few personality conflicts. They're all really, really cool people. The supervisor that gave me COVID gave me and my wife COVID and was talking in ways that were just like, this is not something you say in the workplace, especially to me or my wife. We worked at the same place, by the way. So anyway, that supervisor is gone. I won't have to work with him, and it's just going to be, it's going to be hard work, but it's going to be much, much better. Anyway, Deflex says, I'm so excited for you. Thank you. Decker said, I have a Google Sheet showing every transaction for the year, transaction date, transaction description, category, subcategory for the last two meals and entertainment, dash restaurant, housing, dash rent. Yeah, so I only use one notes column to kind of distinguish that. But yeah, I was going to do that. And I think we're doing that in here-ish. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Details on the transactions. Yep. So what you're calling details, I'm calling line items, most likely. Or no, that sounds like your notes, your memo. What did you actually buy? Kind of thing. Was it debit, credit, balance? Cool. Yep. So yeah, I think you'd like this project overall. Is that Figma? It is Figma. Dr. Capmser said, that sounds like the real Deflux. You're right. It is. Finish. Can't you just keep it in English? Night. I cannot. Oh, you actually stream your job. Yeah, so I used to, and then I don't. And now we started working on this stream project, and I want to finish the stream project. Dicksoft says, if it works, is it really wrong? Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, that's the other one. So I was about to joke about this, but this really is the mentality of one of the people that I work with, which is if I didn't come up with the idea, it's a bad idea until I convince myself or talk through it and then come to the same conclusion that you did. And I'll take up your time while I get to that conclusion, the same conclusion that you did. But until then, it's not a good approach. Well, you should trust me. I've been doing this for a little while. Just give me some leeway. See the work that I have done that has worked out, and maybe base your decision on that instead of, oh, I didn't come up with that myself. Dr. Capmser said, oh yeah, everyone should be considering other ways and question why they want to do it a particular way. Yeah. And mine is definitely, I have found it to be the best way after having encountered all these other ways that just didn't work for me. And that's not always the best reason. It does get me closed off sometimes, so I have to catch myself. Dr. Capmser says, my resume actually has a lot of switches to new tech on it. Proof in the pudding, so to speak, that I enjoy learning new things that are useful and not just random tech. Yeah, and I'm okay with doing the same thing over and over. The main draw for me is modernizing a legacy application or making something more automated or adding quality of life features to stuff. I want to make other people's jobs easier for them. That brings me the most joy. Yeah. I mean, it's in my company's slogan, enhancing life through automation. And I say enhancing, not making life automated life. No, just enhancing it, making it better. That's what I want to do. Let's see, how many branches does everyone use at work? Just main and release, right? That's how it used to be at this job. And then we finally moved to a branching strategy where we create branches on work items. But it took a lot to get to this point. Everything was commit directly to main, which we still call master, by the way. One developer on main, one on release. Love that. TBD said, yeah, and the other 6 million that nobody ever cleans up. True. I delete all of my branches as soon as I merge it in, and I'm sure that I don't need to, well, even if I am not sure that if I need to make changes or not, because we use GitHub and you can undelete a branch, or you can just have the branch locally still and recommit to it and then reopen it that way. But mostly I would still create a new branch, even if it's to fix something on a branch that I had already done a PR for. Dr. Katmasur said, but you never know if folks will appreciate the experience or not. I know it's just bias and crap. True. But me, on this channel, I appreciate opinionated opinions. A lot. Decker TV said, I'm not joking. My team has 2 branches, main and release. Yeah, that really is how ours used to be. The only time that they branched was when they were doing a proof of concept. Oh yeah. TBD said to Captain, that can backfire a little. So Captain said, but you never know if folks will appreciate the experience or not. I know it's just bias. So TBD responded with, that can backfire a little if it makes you look like you'll move on the moment the technology becomes stale. Oh, yeah. So the resume part is what he was responding to. Yeah, for me, like I stayed at my first job all through my college experience. Well, from 2003 to the end of my college experience, which my college experience went from 2000 to 2009. Yep, I am going to admit that. Not proudly, I am ashamed of it, but it took me 9 years to graduate. And I do have my reasons for why. Mostly because I sucked at school and made poor decisions those first years. But when I pulled my head out of my ass and started doing the work, hey, what do you know? I'm actually pretty good at software development. So anyway, stayed at the job that got me through school for another 6 years after I graduated. So it was a total of almost 15 years at that job. My second job, that was actually software development, I stayed at for 3 years, and that was the Rocky Mountain Arsenal. And then this one I'm staying at for 2 years, but I'm going back to the Rocky Mountain Arsenal so we can kind of continue it. But I tend to stay longer than I should. But I'm not doing that with this job this time around. Yeah. Okay, so Spaghetti is asking a question. Have you ever had a colleague that seems to get a psychopathic satisfaction from explaining things to someone in a way that there is no way they will understand because they don't know the required principles to understand what they're talking about? I haven't worked with anyone like that, but I do know the personality type. Yes. Dr. Captain was responding to TBD saying, true, I'm not sure if it looks like that right now or not. I'd have to think about it. There are some consistencies that maybe alleviate that concern. And then Riv said, I somehow keep ending up in a dictatorship and not a team. Well, I don't think it's your fault. I really do think that because of the mentality of software development teams, depending on, the industry, because typically the industry does have a certain flavor of developers from what I've seen so far. Anyway, it just seems like there's a culture that comes with teams where it's either the stakeholder or the project manager that's like, no, you're going to do it this way. This is the way that you're going to implement this thing that we've assigned to you that you're supposed to figure out and do as your job, but we're going to tell you exactly how we want you to implement it. And what's worse is when the stakeholder is not technical. They're like, no, you should be doing it this way. Or something that happened to me recently was the stakeholder was explaining to me how the application works when I was the one creating the feature. Like, this was the warranty feature, and the warranty card in this application, when you have an internet connection, it goes out to the API and says, can I get the warranty for this serial number? And they kept trying to tell me, no, it goes out to the internet and says, give me the warranty for this serial number and product number. And I'm like, that isn't how I wrote it though. It's like, it's how it works. And I'm like, I am only sending the serial number with the HTTP request. So no, no. That is not how our application is doing it. But nice try. Thank you for your input. I'll allow you to be wrong. I already read that. Some team members are a virus that spread. True. I hope I was a virus that spread, but in a positive way. You know, the good kinds of viruses. I don't know if there's a such thing as a good kind of virus, but we now have branching strategies. We are asking questions instead of just saying, okay, no, we're not going to do this thing that you're asking us to do, client. Because that was one thing I did not understand. We are assigned to this team to make a product for the client based on their requirements. Those requirements are based on discussions that we have. Discussions. When I first got here, those discussions were shout, 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 we want this. Shout, 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 no, you can't have that. And I'm like, what? What? How does this even work? How is this functional? But I mean, like this team has been there for like 10 years or more. So they have this established relationship with the client, and that's how it was going for a really long time. But it's now turned into, hey, we're actually adults and can discuss. You guys want this feature? This is what we say it's going to take. We would need to put this other one on hold unless you want us to focus on that one. But it's never a, no, we can't do that. It's a, do you want this or that? If we're in that kind of situation, or yeah, sure, we'll implement that. See how you guys like this approach and have a discussion. Oh, sweating just from that. That's one of the things that really works me up. Adults yelling at each other like babies and children. I didn't get that for a while. Anyway, Napalm says, laughing my ass off. Yeah, so many strong personalities in coding, to put it nicely. Yeah. Mine is one of them. I mean, like that's I'm hoping I am giving other people to have their personalities too. But I have my personality, and it's one that I hope fosters a team that is successful. But that also means that I'm kind of a prude or stick in the mud. Is that the phrasing? Where there are things that are not work related that I want nothing to do with. Those do not belong in our paired programming sessions, if we ever have paired programming sessions. Yeah. There's a lot of extraneous fluff. I do not want to go to dinner with you. I do not want to go to lunch with you. I want to work with you and do a great job on this app, and then at the end of the day, I want to be with my wife and do whatever else I do for the rest of my day. Anyway, I already read that one. LMAO, so many strong. Trust is the most important in a team. I agree. Well, no. Actually, I do want to agree with that. To me, I guess it's adjacent to trust, but integrity is the most important to me. If one team member says they're going to do a thing, then they do the thing. That's where my trust comes from. I can trust you to do what you say you're going to do and take care of. So instead, what happens is team member says they're going to take care of a thing. I'm waiting on them. I'm doing other things, but I need them to do their part of this thing so that I can finish up the rest of my part. And they tend to just let it slip or fall through and just don't have the integrity to do what they say they're going to do. And then also to kind of like act like it was extremely hard so that they can push the timeline out. I don't get that either. Work on it at your pace, yes, but your pace also means that you're doing your job while you're on the clock. Moving on, that's my personality coming through. So that's number one for me. Currently migrating .NET 5 to .NET 8. I did a .NET 6 to .NET 8 recently. I'm assuming it's pretty similar. There aren't too many differences from 5 to 6 that would change how I would migrate from 5 to 8 versus 6 to 8. Napalm says, I'm 100% a greenfield dev. I have done brownfield, but I kind of hate trying to figure out why the hell someone created the mess we want to replace. I love brownfield. I mean, I'm sure I could do greenfield. I just don't think that I am as far as full stack is concerned, I don't have all of the tools to be able to create everything myself. And I do like to do a lot of independent development jobs as opposed to working on a team, but that's just me. I'm a jerk like that. Spaghetti Developer said to Decker TV, EF Core Power Tools is your friend. Decker TV says, Net 5 you say? That's out of support for 2 years. How does that happen? Unsupervised contractor that I inherited his entire project. Hey, if you went to the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, they have not had a developer since I left. So you would be faced with the same thing except .NET 6, which is almost, is it out of support now? Almost out of support or out of support? So anyway, all of the rest of the applications aside from the one that I migrated to .NET 8 are .NET 6. Deflex asks, are you remote? Yes, I am. Spaghetti said, to Decker, because I think you have to rewrite the DB context, right? Nope, not at all. For my .NET 6 to .NET 8, like I said, my databases are still .NET 5, actually. So the database projects for the Rocky Mountain Arsenal are .NET 5, I believe. And I still use them in that latest .NET 8 migration. So no, you definitely don't have to rewrite the DB context. But yes, 100% remote. Decker TV's at college. Some never finish. Some never matters how long. Just that you stick to it and complete. Congrats. Well, thank you. I've had a lot of, and I say this because I don't want anyone to be disheartened. In my opinion, in this day and age, you don't have to go through formal education in order to be a successful developer. There are so many resources that you could use, provided you have the desire and motivation to do it and follow through. If you need additional motivation, maybe formal education is a good way for you to stay committed to it and actually finish and do it. But there are people that just don't need that. There are people that learn just fine from whatever other resources they can get their hands on. Which I'm in that camp, but what I needed university for was to teach me that the perseverance and endurance to get through stuff that I don't want to do in order to achieve a thing that I want to achieve. Because there's a lot of fluff with university. UGE courses that are like, yeah, I'll probably use calculus at some point in time or statistics during my software development, but that's something that I'm not going to use often enough to retain it. So I'd have to relearn it anyway. And thank you so much for the follow. But again, because I had to take those undergrad courses and pass them, even though I barely passed most of them, it still taught me, there are things that you're probably going to have to do in real life that you don't want to do in order to achieve the goals that you want to achieve or be able to do the things that you want to do. So, good lesson for me. Again, not for everyone. Spaghetti said, I don't know if you are different under high stress, but from what I see on stream, I'd like to have colleagues like you. I appreciate that very much. When I get super under high stress, I can be pretty withdrawn and what's the other word that I'm looking for? Resigned to just go with what anyone else says, because I don't want to have to deal with it. And I have a case, I have a reason for why I think that we should approach it this other way, but I'm not going to argue. We're just going to add more poop onto the poop. Deflex, why are you PMing me? Do you want me to read it now? Okay. Okay. um, Napalm said, college literally just made me a better learner, mostly. Yeah, I was still pretty bad at learning. Like, if you want me to learn something from a textbook or a book in general and then take a test on it, no. Like certifications, for example. Still no. My learning comes from doing. I'm a kinesthetic learner. And there were a lot of courses at university that were read this, regurgitate it, as opposed to projects, which were all of my computer science courses. And guess what? I got like a 3.7 on my computer science courses. And then a 2.6 on my undergrad courses. It was pretty bad. So if we worked together, we wouldn't socialize. Kind of, maybe. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So like there are pockets of time that I reserve for doing work related things, and then pockets of time that I have reserved for doing something like streaming where I could socialize. So I invite my coworkers to the stream because this is a place where I would converse with them. I invite them to Discord to talk with me there. But meeting up in person is not something that I do. So, yeah. If that's what you mean by socialize, then we would never socialize in that way. Or invite you over or whatever else. But having discussions on Discord in not real time, maybe in real time sometimes, but when we're at work, we're working together on a common goal, which is creating this product for this client and doing a damn good job at it and learning from each other in that way. But yeah, this is where I'm sharing all of my personal life experience and opinions. That's what this time is blocked out for. And then the rest of the time I spend with my wife. Napalm said, I know where I'm at in the conversation, at least. Napalm said, I may or may not be having a conversation with a colleague about trust and the resulting micromanagement someone might get when they don't have it. Yeah. And I mean, I do fall into those conversations. Again, if it's a topic that I am interested in and you happen to bring it up, then we'll go down that conversation trail. But otherwise, if it's just telling me about your weekend, then I would prefer to be using that time to focus on my product. I'm terrible. I'm a jerk. And you can judge me for that. I have no problem with that. I'll still live into it. I am me. The more I do this thing, the more I believe that the next team I get to work with, I'm just going to enforce my opinions until I get pushback, and then embrace the pushback as passion and see if I can grow, says TVD Gamer. That's cool. My approach to it is I will present to you my opinion because it's what I believe to be a good way to do the thing. And if you have a counter opinion, then you have the freedom to let me know. I'll weigh it. I'll roll it around in my mouth like a good fart. No, that's a different joke. I will consider it and see if it fits into my model. If I can like update my mental model for how this thing can be approached. And if it's anywhere in the realm of this is acceptable, then yeah, sure, let's do it. But if it's just something so far off where I'm like, well, I'm seeing these roadblocks in the future. Yes, this is going to work for now, but in the future, it's going to cause maintenance issues. It's going to cause bugs in this other part of the code that you aren't considering. Let's consider that together, continue having this conversation, and then, yeah. Because adults, adults. Anyway, like a lion, uses whatever is in the main branch. Unrelated. Okay. You can if you want. Well, I'm going to catch up on chat. Dugasoft said, read it out loud. Oh, okay, so I'm going to read it out loud instead. No, I'm not going to read that out loud. What are you thinking, Dugasoft? Night. Napalm says, group projects were miserable. Always got stuck with unmotivated people that I had to pull across the finish line or replace their parts with work I had done because it was crap. I'm not even going to get into that. Again, school experience was something else. I was in marching band, so I'm going to say that I enjoyed that group activity, and that's the extent of it. And even then, like, I was section leader for the bass line. But we got the music down. We learned our stuff. Spaghetti said, man, I discovered Radzen Blazor Studio, and it almost makes me want to become freelance and offer solutions developed with it. You can. Only problem is I have no clue how to find contracts. I can't really give you advice on that today. Maybe if you feel like talking about it in depth as a real topic, we can talk about it on a Friday stream. Yankos is here. Hello. That's a problem for future Yankos. Yes. Oh man, yes. Okay. I can't believe it. I'm at the bottom of chat. Do. The answer is no, Deflux. They don't. Yeah. Even the way that it's being structured now, it's going to be contract work for until November, and then I'll be W-2 full-time. Hello, Foolish Snubble. The end. Another day, another migration. Well, I hope it goes well. So the app, for those of you that haven't seen the app, we're redesigning it. So quick background story on it. We decided to do this app, like I mentioned earlier, because I wanted to have a project to stream that was still Blazor and still done in a way that we were like, if I was doing this for a real world client. And I did do a lot of the things that I fall into, which is, well, this thing works for now, so I'm just going to keep it. So we ended up making a fully functional app with mediocre UI. And so now we were acting as if the client is happy with the functionality of the app. They love how it works. This title bar wasn't there. This is just added later. The client loves how it works. It does everything that they wanted the app to do, but they don't like how it looks. So they let that first contract go because they're like, thank you for your time. You did great. It's still maintainable. You gave us a product. We bought the product from you. Now we're going to have someone else do more stuff with it. So they hired us to redesign this existing application. So now we're playing the role of a UI designer with some technical knowledge, some HTML, CSS, and JavaScript type stuff. And we're redesigning this application that was created before we got to this job. We're recreating the UI. Did I see it that way? So that's what we're doing now. I have middling UI design skills, and I want to get better at it for me. And so I've been trying to do better design. And so this is where we are currently at, which is, this is our landing page, which replaces our original landing page. I have a couple of options. This is the entire content on the landing page, as you can scroll down. And then this was just a sample of what happens as you scroll down. And I wanted to actually see this, which again, I don't know if it's a good idea for me to keep pursuing this, but I wanted to see this actually happen. I think we're pretty much done for the most part with the basic design part. So I started sketching it out in CodePen, which is not open. And so anyone can go to the repo itself, which I'm going to post a link to that again. There's the repo, and it's open source. You can fork it, you can make changes to it and do a PR. If you feel like it, there's no requirement to. It's not in the same vein as TBD Gamer's Monday and Tuesday content. So shout out to TBD Gamer real quick. TBD Gamer is an application. I can't because Dukasoft already did. Anyway, if you're not following him, click on his name somewhere in chat and follow him or go over to his channel. This is what he looks like. Oh no.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, we'll just give that a minute.
Wow.
I have no idea, but something just went very bad.
Something went very wrong. Anyway, that's what you can get from TBD Gamer's stream. Fantastic. Anyway, put their name in there, Deflex. So anyway, TBD Gamer is an application developer. On Mondays and Tuesdays, he streams this application called Water Drink Water. He drinks. He drinks from 7 in the morning until about 9 in the morning Eastern time, which is about 5.5 hours ago. Yeah, 5.5 hours, 4.5 hours ago. I can do time. And he was having fun with time this morning. We had a good conversation about time. But that's a community project that is fully open source as well, and he encourages community participation. He's using Blazor for it and a few component libraries, Fluent UI, Blazor, Bootstrap Blazor, whatever order that's in. Thank you, Dukasoft. And anyway, so that's Water Drink Water. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, he does another project, which he codenamed Liquid Sky, that is a project management app. So think anywhere between any of the applications like Jira, Azure DevOps, the GitHub issues. So something that you're using to track work items that you're doing for a project, but it's more developer focused. So you really should moderate your drinking, TBD. I mean, you may have set a goal for yourself that is like 80 ounces a day, but that should be water. Maybe 80 ounces is a lot. Anyone here buying TikTok? What do you mean buying? Like stocks? But anyway, that's TBD Gamer. So this application is, I'm working on it on stream. Maybe I'll do one or two things off stream to like clean up something, but only working on it on stream. It's open source and you are welcome to contribute to it, but you definitely don't have to. We're going to get through it. We're going to finish it up. I just wanted to use it to get more, first of all, to continue streaming Blazor as if I were creating a professional real world project. Second, so that I can gain more skills in UI design. And that's the step that we're on. So we've gotten pretty far. It looks nice. With that, I'm going to catch up on the things that were said since the last time I read chat. What is the software that we are seeing right here? This is Figma. I downloaded the desktop client because it's much easier for me to work in the desktop client with its multiple tabs like this than it is in the browser version, where I already have way too many browser tabs open and too many browser windows at that open. Cool. I am going to add CDC Sharp to my Oops, I didn't want to close that one. Stay. To my multi-stream. There's also Mooniz and Bardaki, and JD does dev. Okay, so those are the 4 that I'm going to have on my multi-stream, molten stream. Okay, so CDC sharp. And this is a French guy, Deflex said. He's from France, but speaks good English. Also, he's a Blazor developer. Cool. So I'll check him out for sure. Snubble said, makes me remember when we thought it was fun to install a blue screen screensaver on the main server in 1998. There was so many things that you used to could do to just, I was going to say that in such a bad way, but I'm going to say it in the way that I say it. You can judge me for it. To just be annoying to people. For example, the fake blue screen of death, the cursor one that moved the mouse. Yeah. The taking a screenshot of someone's desktop and then deleting all the icons from the desktop and putting the screenshot as a desktop background. Yeah, I'm not into those things. I don't think they're funny. Anyway, anyone here buying TikTok? If I recall, Biden made TikTok unlawful. So either get out of US or sell to a US buyer. I don't really know what that means. Could be wrong though. So I thought someone here thought about buying it all. Hello, Thindle. Did you already do the Thindle shout out? I wasn't paying attention. Here's a shout out for Thindle. Thindle is another application developer working on modernizing a legacy e-commerce application, and it's really not that legacy as much anymore. He's made a lot of progress on it. So if you're interested in watching more .NET Dev, Tuesdays about this time on Tuesdays, he streams his progress on that project. Also really cool to hang out with. Migrating DBs. Been in meetings where people lamenting migrating takes too much time. Inverting desktop, take desktop screenshot, and hide taskbar. Oh yeah, the what is it? Windows print screen. Napalm knows all the tricks. I know all the tricks because they all happened to me, which is probably where I got to the point of, yeah, this really isn't funny because I'm trying to do a job and you're just, yeah. Anyway, Yanko said, we've been upgrading OS on VMs for the past month, getting up at 2:30 a.m. every Tuesday and Thursday. Have a few weeks to go. That does not sound super fun. Swedish Thindle is awesome. Another application developer testing out Aspire right now. Awesome. Very cool. You need to switch to HTMX and how I heard. Pretty much exactly this time, but tomorrow. Good. I did get it right. Yes. I thought so. I'm not good at remembering things, especially time. Oh man. That conversation about time with Thindle, or with TBD Gamer this morning. So he has the water application tracks the water that you drink with the time that you drank it. So if you're looking for an overview or a summary or a report of how much water did I drink, when did I drink it, etc., then that's dependent on what do you call a day. So is one day from midnight to midnight UTC? Is it midnight to midnight your current time zone? is it midnight to midnight of the day that you logged, the time zone that you were in when you logged the water. And so there's just a lot of things to consider in just that one thing. And then there are a whole bunch of other things to consider, like what measurements, what unit of measurements, and how do I log those, etc. Yeah. Good times. Good times is right, Mabel. Anyway, the best one was when they didn't secure some old school DOS commands, and we installed a utility to open a colleague's CD drawer from another machine, or when we ran a keyboard plugged into his tower under cube wall and randomly made his machine do stuff. Good times. Yeah, I'm not into that at all. I'll let you have your good times with that. Yeah, I'm just not gonna be happy about it. I don't know what the word is. Anyway, he has a good sense of humor. Yeah, and people that don't like that don't have a good sense of humor. That's the thing that I really don't like about that. It's like, it's not my sense of humor that's lacking. Sadly, he passed away too soon. Literally right after stand-up call during COVID when we were virtual for the first time. I know you didn't say that, but the rest of society does, or people that tend to have that playfulness, that playful energy. I need to grow a thicker skin. I need to be more lighthearted. I need to be whatever. I'm a worker. Wait, no, I reconnected. I reconnected just before the stream. How is archery bot? Your archery bot. Anything? Nothing. What did I do last time to get it to work? I think I refreshed. Add. Nope. Oh my goodness, why does it has to be broke all the times? In the meantime, we'll get a dad joke. What did the ocean say to the shore? Nothing. It just waved. That one I'll chuckle at. I've been doing a lot more chuckling lately at these dad jokes. The more you read them, the more you're exposed to them. What if, excuse me, archery butt. Is there a way? Oh, turn on multi-view? Not multi. How do I turn on the thing where I have the thing that's currently on stream and then the other view? Turn on the archery game. Hey, you know about the archery game? Or did you just kind of like, make that up? What is the thing called? Were you review another studio mode? That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So if I change to archery game, open that up, you guys can still see me, yeah? Yeah. Refresh. Anything? So we know that the LLM is running. we know that the bot is running because we were doing shoutout commands and stuff.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I have no idea how I broke the coin flip and dice. Roll dice? Roll die? Roll dice? Whatever it's called. Die roll commands. I don't remember doing anything different. Oh, I'm putting roll, R-O-L-E. That's funny. There. I don't know how I broke that, but I broke it. Sushi roll. I don't even like sushi, and that sounds tasty today. Studio mode off. So anyway, I don't know why the bot's broken. Why the archery game is broken. Actually, you know what? Let's just restart the bot anyway. Services. I'm going to assume it's the Twitch API connection. The one that you have to do the super duper special login handshake. Oh, did it get warm suddenly? While I'm waiting for the bot to come back, I was trying to open up CodePen, which is also available for you to go to if you wanted to fork this and make your own design changes and whatever. You're welcome to. There is no obligation. But we made it to where we have, for the most part, formatted the page the way that we want and stuff. I don't like that this background is the same background as this color. And I wanted to find actual placeholder images to use here. So in our design, this is what we have for placeholder images currently. And I want something that has this feel to it, but doesn't look so juvenile. You know what I mean? But I don't know how to do that. So does anyone happen to have any suggestions on the types of pictures to put here? Maybe ask the pig. Because the other thing that we could do with the pig is make it grayscale. It was fun making this pig, though. What about a money bag or stack of bills? So this is supposed to be a stack of coins. Not great. Not great. But again, it was all for the concept. So you think that the overall concept of this looks okay? These squares? Yeah, I know. You have to get in really close to tell that these are coins. I used what I could. You like it? Interesting. Thank you. So then with that, we can maybe find, like, I guess what I really wanted to have there were screenshots of the application itself. So something like one of these windows, for example, even though this isn't what the application is going to look like. Let's get rid of these coins. Why is the piggy bank still there? That's weird. No, don't get rid of the actual. Okay. I see. We're just getting rid of the graphic inside. Oh, crap. Those are components. been a little bit since we were in Figma working on these. Okay, so we have an empty component, and we're going to give you this inside. Maybe make you smaller. No, why aren't you scaling? Everything inside of here. Please scale. It's going to look terrible scaled. I don't even think I want to go through this entire process because I know it's not going to look good. Oh, I have a better idea. Again, this is just for the prototyping. If we pasta you here, copy as PNG. Oh crap, except I didn't want that top part. Then we could, actually, you know what? I really didn't want the title on it, so let's try that again. This time without sucking. There, right label. Go away. Copy. Bell tackled, pasted. And then we can scale image. Oh, I like that effect when you make the thingy too big. Okay, so since you're inside of hero background, not hero background, you need it to be inside of a card. Man. Hero card type, there we go. Okay, I need this hero card to be clip. And something like that. This. Yeah, so something more like this. I mean, you get the point. I want to put the screenshots of the application in these parts, but meaningful things from it. So I want to put a part that's just the account overview, or, you know, some snippet. And I'm getting that thought from these, where it's like, here are portions of the application on the landing page and what it might look like on your device. And that seems to be pretty common, and it does look nice to me. I just don't know how to execute it. Especially since I don't have mockups for the rest of the application yet. But that's what I want to put here. So let me grab this. I can't paste or replace because that's its own component. TBD is saying, as soon as I get rid of this mess, I just raised that our staging system is missing database updates. The DBA's reply telling me, oh, I just raised a concern or an issue or something, telling the DBAs that our staging system is missing database updates. DBA's reply telling me I should tell them what's missing on a system I have no access to. But yeah, you try and do the right thing and raise issues. Yes. I mean, man, I totally read that with the wrong inflection, but I got it. I got it. Forgive me for reading that incorrectly. Oof. And that totally messes up when you squish. My access is missing. I'm not allowed access because I'm a dev. Anyway, he was trying to say, you try and do the right thing and raise issues. And then you get treated like this. My promotion is missing, says Dukasov. So yeah, I don't know. So freaking tired today, says Napalm. Worked my butt off outside all day yesterday. Oh, doing the physical things. I had to I'm gonna say I am saying a lot of things. I would get tired just walking to the mailbox. Physical world things, man. And it's not because, you know, I would get physically fatigued. It's all just being outside and around people. Oh man, Apple Watch said I had 6 miles of movement and sent a move record. Holy cow, Napalm. That's awesome. TBD says, the only promotion I want right now is a good job offer from another employer. About Sajetti. Tukasov said, hey, at least you don't have to battle WordPress all day. True. Napalm said, I think it literally was like, WTF, you move so little usually. I just assumed you were dead. Not necessarily. So my position does, yes. But if you really are interested in working at a consultancy where you have the opportunity to work on a variety of different products and projects and technologies, so the majority, like just from what I could tell, there are a lot of, if not the majority of, the clients that use Angular for any of their front end stuff. So I don't know. Angular 2 at that. I tried to move I tried to move yesterday. I tried to mow the lawn yesterday. Lawnmower broke down. I tried to do the edge trimming and the pull cord came out. I tossed it all back in the shed and contacted a landscaping company. I already have a lawn care service that takes care of our lawn for us. And we don't have very much lawn either. Like we went with whatever the builders left, which is just the front yard. And then in the backyard, we had it just mostly rock and then a patch of lawn directly in front of the patio. Because we're like, we really do not want to have to maintain this. Oh, so yeah, I'm still gonna give up on making this my actual image here, but I really do want a placeholder image Something to put up there. Like here, I had this in the original app. And this worked, but it was just way too bright for a dark themed app by default. So I don't know. I'm just going to leave it as is. So then what does that mean that I'm going to do next? Next, I am going to act like I'm going to do something else and just end up reading chat for the next 30 minutes. It's a lot easier to read chat than it is to work on UI design. Oh, it is such a slog for me. And TBD Gamer's like, why would you put yourself through this if it's not something you really want to do? Why are you putting so much energy into this design work when it's not actually something you want to do? And it's because I'm going back to another job where I will be a solo developer again and be responsible for all of it. Who is this? Muniz? Muniz is just playing Hollow Knight. I don't want to watch a game dev. It's very distracting. I mean, game player. I want to watch game dev, app dev. How many years of experience do you have, Lion? So I told you about my college experience, where I failed miserably for the first 2 to 3 years before I started getting my act together. During that time, I was working federal service, and in that HR office, I was doing I was doing classification clerk work. So in that job, I did a lot of VBA, Excel, Access, VBA. That was my primary programming while I was at university. Then around 2009, when I graduated, or maybe shortly before I graduated, is when I did my first .NET stuff. Well, it wasn't even .NET at the time. It was ASP Web Forms. Yeah, Web Forms. ASP Classic, with the headquarters office that maintained the application that I worked on a daily basis doing human resources. So I had plenty of ideas for how we could improve it. I had a feature that I wanted to add, and just regular ASP. So I had a feature that I wanted to add to the classification system, and it was one where managers would describe a set of job functions, and then it would do all of the work to look up, and I didn't do this very well, but it would do all of the work to look up in the regulations. I want to know what pay plan, series, and grade. I won't explain what all that means, but anyway, it did a lookup based off of an English natural language description of the job duties that they wanted their new employee to do. And it gave them the classification of those job duties: pay plan, series, grade, job title. And so I worked on that. And that was .NET, or regular ASP with VB. And I was already pretty good at VB because VBA, and then the only other experience I had with programming was VB6, and it was home to me. And I did everything with VBA or VB6, and I loved it. And I was afraid of C# when I heard about C#. And then I did a second 3-month, or maybe it was, 3-month development project with them for the same feature, except also some additional things that they wanted on top of that. And that one I did finish, and that was a lot of fun. So there were like change tracking to when they're editing the job description. So we had a history of edits made to job descriptions that you could see, and you could say, all right, what was changed between this version and this version? That was a lot of fun. And they had at that time went to ASP2, which was the first version of ASP.NET, I believe. And they were still using ASP classic web pages. And so the new functionality that I added at that point in time was an ASP.NET web pages page. Set of functionality to it. So that was a lot of fun. So I would call that 6 months of experience by the time I was in 2011. Then from then on, I did nothing but .NET, shifted to C#, MVC pages, regular MVC, and Blazor in 2018, and still going. So probably officially 10 years, a little over 10 years of .NET. And then just before that, another 7 years of VBA, and of course Java, C, C++ at university. So 9 years of that, because again, I failed the first few years and had to take the same courses multiple times. Hello, Disco. So there you go. And I've been doing Blazor ever since it came out, but yeah, that's about it. And thank you, Fox, for the follow. Fox4. I think that's the actual channel that our Fox station is. Glad to see you make it. Blazor is a bit too easy. So not to everyone. I can see lots of hiccups in Blazor for new developers or developers coming from another framework, like Angular, for example. I love the ASCII face. Is it an owl's or is it a fox? I mean, I would assume it's a fox, but it doesn't look like a fox. It looks more like an owl's or a penguin. Penguin. I don't miss the early days of .NET. I love where it is. I did some cool stuff back then, but it's progressed so much. You can still rag on Blazor, TBD. You have valid concerns and complaints about Blazor. I keep trying to say that. I found it to be an easy transition from MVC to Blazor. In fact, I found it to be like leagues beyond what you could do in MVC because I didn't have to touch JavaScript anymore. And it makes perfect sense to me. But for someone coming from another framework, like especially JavaScript framework of some sort, and trying to use Blazor as their UI and maybe trying to apply the same principles or not really separate the code, because Blazor, all the tutorials, as TBD Gamer mentions a lot, are all about let's make it as easy for you to understand, and in doing so we're going to put the DB context inside of the page that needs the data from the DB, or like, no, that's not really how we organize our code, but that's how the tutorials make it look. For example, if you head over to the repo, the repo is just Blazor. To my repo for this project, financial management tracker, since I don't have Visual Studio open at the moment because we're designers right now who are totally procrastinating doing design work. Wait, why is anyway, that file should be in git ignore. You'll see a whole bunch of folders. Yeah, this is better to look at in the solution. So I typically don't do a good job of structuring the disk file structure very well. But my solutions, yeah, Code Rush, thank you. And I don't even use Code Rush. Like, I started to use it, but it took over a lot of my keyboard shortcuts, and I didn't take the time to rebind my keyboard shortcuts or to learn the Code Rushed keyboard shortcuts, because I love my keyboard shortcuts. They're not even the typical Visual Studio keyboard shortcuts either. I have to override those every single time I upgrade. Anyway, here's my solution structure. And so just quick overview, bunch of shared projects with the core library stuff. This is like models. It's the server-side logic for getting data, performing CRUD operations, all of that stuff. This is how the client would call the backend, and they're mirrored. So anything that I have as a server-side service, the thing that actually gets the data or manipulates the data or whatever, is also represented on the client side as a HTTP request to the backend. And that's all that the client side really has, different from the backend, which is the actual database calls. So my DB context only exists in these services that only will be loaded on the backend. The shared has all of the models and all of my abstractions. So like the service interfaces and my UI, which is just Blazor UI, not anything specific to do with server rendered or client rendered, nothing like that. It's just a UI library. Uses those interfaces when it does the data injections, the property stuff injections. So for example, here I'm injecting state. So for example, here I'm injecting the deposit entry service, and the deposit entry service that gets the actual concrete version of the deposit entry service that gets injected here is defined based on the type of application that you're running. So if I'm running a Blazor server application, then that is the server side implementation of it. So transaction entry service for deposits. And so my deposits, payments, and transfers are all the same as far as the CRUD operations. So you just tell it which type of transaction you're wanting to track using this service, and it's the same for all of them. But anyway, point is, the application itself is the thing that says, because you're running server-side, you're going to use the actual server-side implementation directly. If you're Blazor WebAssembly from .NET 7 and before, then you will use the client-side implementation that does the HTTP requests instead. If you're a desktop app, if you're a mobile app, if you're a Tizen app, then you will also be using this HTTP client to get your data. And then whatever your API is in the backend, that's the thing that's going to get the server-side implementation. I don't. So this project was to show that you can, with one user interface written in Blazor, and your project structured in a thoughtful way, you can put whatever front end you want on top of it, whatever application type you want. So this was showing you Blazor server mode only in .NET 7 and before. This is Blazor WASM in .NET 7 and before. This is a MAUI application that uses the exact same UI. And this is a WPF application that uses the exact same UI. So one UI, one server-side implementation of everything, one client-side implementation of everything, the shared models, and you can put any application type you want on top of it. If they create a new application type in the future, or if we wanted to add an MVC application, or if we wanted to add a Razor Pages application, then you do that and you point it to the Blazor UI. If you wanted to add a WinForms project type, You could. There's always one. But yeah, point is, I was showing that we wrote our UI once and we're using it in any application type. We wrote our core logic and we're using it in any application type. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So true. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, did I actually fix this thing? I did not. So the archery bot stuff. Yeah, I'm not even getting the redemptions in the bot anymore. I broke it. I broke it. Man, I love that emote. You finally made it though, Thindle. That's awesome. It's a great one. Did I break it? What even is that? Is he actually wearing a banana or it's just a yellow rain suit? Can't tell. They're great. They're great. It was a banana costume. That's awesome. Thor in a banana suit. Except we call him Lemon Man. Oh, is that Noble Lemon? That's the only lemon I know on Twitch. Oh, because he kept saying it's not a banana, it's a lemon. It's a banana. Everyone knows it's a banana. All right, what else can I use to procrastinate? What is that? Science banana. Oh man. Good times. Okay, where are we? Peru. Let's make something happen. What can I make happen today so that I can put something in the description that says today we added images for the placeholders was what I was planning on doing. What about figuring out, oh man, Dukasoft gave us a, I think it was you, Dukasoft, or someone else. Anyway, a scroll, Control H. That's J. Let's try Control H. What was it called? Parallax scroll something or other? Scroll. We got the overlay scroll bars. Where was scroll driven? Oh, it is the scroll driven animations one. This one. Okay. So the effect that I was wanting to see from the beginning, the whole reason I started this code pen was to visualize in a non-static way because my brain is just not working like this. I can't continue designing more with static images. But as you scroll down, I am wanting the hero section to fade out to opacity 0. But I want it to be based off of scroll, but I don't want to use JavaScript to do it. I know. That's what JavaScript is for. And it's a good use of it. And it's not bad to have JavaScript in your code. But if I could do it in a CSS way, that'd be cool. And so somebody, and I'm pretty sure it was you, Dukasoft, found this. And if you'll notice, there is no JavaScript at all in this JavaScript block. There are no imported JavaScript stuffs. And the width of these is based off of the scroll position and the opacity. Which means there is a way to manipulate an element based off of scroll position. So we're going to figure that out in 6 minutes, because now is when I really get work done. When there are 6 to 10 minutes left in the stream. All right, so let's study this and figure out what's happening. So we have this thing called an animation timeline. And the animation that we are doing the animation timeline on is called shrink. And shrink is going from width 100% to width 50% minus 2 pixels. So right now you can see that this div, or whatever element this is 100% in width. And as you're scrolling down, it gets to 50% minus 2 pixels. And this is happening on both sides. And that's all of the main animation setup, it looks like. So this is what they really wanted us to see. CSS, the magical arts. I hope I'm not your hero. Again, I'm going to say that I'm getting better at this, but I shouldn't be the gold standard, the hero, the anything yet. Not until I am much better. Like, the one thing that I would love for you to take away from watching these streams is organizing your Blazor applications in a way where it doesn't have to be any particular application type. Think of Blazor only as a UI presentation layer, and that's it. And then have all of the rest of your logic the way that you would do any of your C# logic. And then you'll be like, man, Blazor is actually pretty fun when I use it only for UI. Instead of trying to mix in concerns like getting the actual data. I said data. And then state. State's another thing. I'm still kind of like, my state implementation is in flux. It's still kind of nebulous, but I do like this approach that I'm currently using. I'm sure it's going to morph some more as I learn other people's techniques, but I like this one. Where my state are just classes that are dependency injected in my client side. That's shared classes between components. Can't promise I won't dislike it with a passion, but I will try. Oh, I promise I will put more effort into Blazor. I really, I don't want to make you feel like I'm attacking you or anything for you not liking Blazor. The only reason that I speak up on your stream is when you'll say something that is definitive about, I don't know why anyone would want to use Blazor. I have a reason to use Blazor, so I'll let you know why. Or, yeah. Just things that are difficult for you to see. Why Blazor in this situation? Or how is this better than other thing that I've been using? And I'll say it's not better than, but it is a reasonable alternative. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I love TBD Gamer streams. Because we can have an honest and open conversation none of it comes across as fanboy isms, which I love. Cool. What is rad? I pinned your message on accident. So we're going to pin it until the end of the stream. But Blazor is great for rapid application development. I agree. It's really good for prototyping. It's a very old term. I'm sure I've encountered it before. But yeah, absolutely. I can start any project pretty fast and sketch it out and have it up and running without design using Blazor. You're going to see this in the future, but again, I want to procrastinate some more. So this will most likely be the last thing. We're not going to figure out the animation thing today, but Wednesday, that's what we'll start with. Now that I know what we're going to do, we can definitely start with that. Team Explorer. Here are a whole bunch of repos that are in Azure DevOps that are for the Rocky Mountain Arsenal's set of projects. Every single one of these are applications that I've touched. Some of them, for example, Army Vegemon, which I don't even have cloned locally, but vegetation monitoring and the original S-Track desktop conversion, and I think Lysimeter were done by the junior developer that I was working with. But since then, I have converted, and water management, regular treatment plants. There's one called water management, but I did that one. Anyway, that was a VB6 app that we turned into .NET WinForms using C#, and then we went from that to Blazor. So I recently converted that water management app to Blazor, put this treatment plan upload into that application so that it's much easier to manage and maintain the water management stuff managerally. But S-Track, this one's gone. This was a way for users to be able to do queries, including transactional queries, to the database via a web app. And it wasn't very secure. It was like, write any SQL you want into this text box and hit execute. So that's no longer a thing. If they, for some reason, need access to run a query directly against the database, then I will temporarily grant them access to SQL Server Management Studio. And most likely I'll be the one doing the query, but if I know that they can write the query or have a query that they want to write, then I give them access to SSMS, to the database, and read only on their user profile. But anyway, RTrack, RMA Water. Point is, there's all of these applications that used to be JSP applications that I converted to MVC using .NET Framework, and then I went from MVC and .NET Framework to MVC and .NET Core, and then to Blazor. So this entire migration modernization process, this was like, ooh, I love this. But what I'm trying to get at is the previous developers, it was a team of 4, said that it would take them 4 years for this project, for DDMS conversion. And then it would take them more time for converting this one, and converting more time for converting this one. And I pretty much finished all of them except for DDMS in the first year that I was there by myself, well, with my junior dev. And then DDMS the next year. It took me 1 year. And it was so much fun. And so we get to go back to that and see all of the mess that I made and clean it up and make it just pristine and perfect. It's going to be awesome. I hope you guys enjoy it when we get there. 3 more weeks, 3 more Wednesday meetings, 3 more, 15, actually now 14 more stand-ups, 3 more other team project, Yeah. Anyway, I'm not counting. TBD Gamer. I'm gonna go to this screen while reading chat, but I will catch up and read everything. TBD Gamer said, an app that wow, I totally forgot how to read. An app I worked in provided a /SQL hidden endpoint so developers could run queries on production system without having access to the database. It was an in-app, and all it required was to be logged into the customer's system. They also had to remember whoa, I'm trying to parse this sentence. They also had a remember me option that just sent the plain text password down to the browser. Oh, jeez. Baby. Right, do. So since we didn't rate them last time, we may as well do it today. Since it looks like, so I was going to check out CDC Sharp. We were going to raid them, but they are offline now. So we have plenty of targets. Again, spoiled for choice today. Sedlix, Bardaki, Dragon Spirit Games. But, you know the place that I like to go. We're going to J-raid, because I can't spell. Big Gamey. And I'll keep reading more as we're raiding. But Big Gamey is a game developer. If you're not into game development, you can drop. But I recommend hanging out because he's so cool. He's so much fun to hang out with. Lots of interaction on his channel. Just awesome. Awesome overall person. Plenty of targets, but no pew pew. Thanks for reminding me. We'll try to get that working. Rob Langdev is here. At the end. Napalm said, see ya, everyone. Just split everything with semicolons. TBD Gamer, what could go wrong? Works for C#. Yes. Yes. Just put a couple dashes at the very end of it, and you're fine. Semicolons, a couple of dashes. You're good to go. Okay, I will be back again on Wednesday. At some point in time, I will post this video to YouTube, the VOD for this stream, and you are always welcome to join our Discord. I'm going to start doing this because the timer is counting down. We're heading over to Big Gamey. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you whenever I see you. Ciao.